the old guys in the old days where they piled in the back of a van and went to the pro race. Now, they've got they're eating exactly right. They're exercising. Yep. They're doing it 7 days a week. So
that's their job.
And that's their job. Yep. So it's a lot more intense than it used to be.
Yep.
I always kind of felt bad for some of them guys. I mean, the guys that are riding around that 10 to 15th place, because there is an astronomical gap between top 5, right, and then 5 through 10, and then 10 through 15 as far as pay. And it's a shame to me because it's kind of like they're working just as hard,
because they're on. A lot of those guys are on teams, but they're not really getting endorsements or nothing like that,
right?
But they're more like a regular 9-to-5 job,
right?
Pay,
right?
Maybe 100,000, maybe 200,000,
right?
But they're working their butts off for a dangerous sport,
right?
And it's hard to get in that top 10.
Yeah, it is. And then they're not, and then it's like, what do you do when you're done, right? I mean that's the because this is obviously a young man's sport,
right?
Reed and Wyndham, they're kind of the odd ducks out of the group, but. I mean, you kind of, I just wish there was more money for those guys or more incentive, for the.
Yeah. I mean, that goes all the way back to, I mean, I don't feel like when you're putting on a pro race, you're putting on the event. So you shouldn't have to pay where they make us pay still.
Right.
And it's like, we shouldn't be paying to race to put on the event.
Right.
So
right.
That's kind of goofy there.
We usually charge our pro guys double.
Do you? Yeah.
But you pay back triple. So.
Yeah. Well, it is an interesting dynamic with the.
I mean, motocross has definitely grown, big time. So,
but the scale is way off. I mean,
from other pro
for
sports,
the payout, yeah. The scale. I mean, because you figure football, all 11 guys. I mean, there's some that are getting better endorsement deals, right? But they're all making.
Just to be on the benches. Making more than most of the top motocrossers.
Yeah, I'd be a water boy any day of the week.
Yep, sign me up.
It's you always think about throw NASCAR in there. You got NASCAR and you got motocross, and the unfortunate part about the motocross side of life, the advertisement's not there.
Right.
Not too many people can catch what your bike says as that you're 35 a year and you go and buy me so fast. Whereas they're focusing on a car and a hood is a good 4x4,
right?
And here's M&Ms or whoever, and so that's who's writing these checks to these guys, and that's the unfortunate part. There's no ad space on your jersey much that you're going to be able to get out there and somebody can actually zoom in on you and see, unless you're running one of the major motocross, one of the motorcycles that they know you're the Honda or the KTM rider or whatever. But that's the unfortunate part that there just hasn't been that money to come in there and advertise,
Well, they say NASCAR is way down, the spectatorship. And I think a lot of that is, in my opinion, an assessment is they get involved, they start talking politics. It's like, just stay out of that stuff and leave that alone because you're just going to rile one side up or the other. And then they're going to, you know what I mean? And then they're going to say the heck with it. I'm not going to watch, It's like, so hopefully, people at the AMA and Supercross, they kind of just better off to just don't even say anything about it. Just do what you're doing, But I agree. I think the scale is way off, for amateurs, or professional amateurs, if you will, to be able to make a living at it,
Right.
But I guess that's how it goes. It's always how it's been, and until there's some, like you said, some marketability. Greater access to it. I don't know if that's ever going to change, but
because you can see back to the car side of life. I can go to Oakshade over here and make some pretty good money.
Yeah.
Not only racing and winning, but the advertising side of life.
Right.
Because you got your car. So, amateurish, they're not pro by no means, over there, but yet they can make some good money if you decided to do that on a very regular basis. I knew there was a couple brothers back in Pennsylvania that was running some modified stuff, and, they did well. I mean, they had a business, but they did well in racing because, they were good, they were fast, they had some great advertising people, and there was money at it, so. it's one of those things where that's not the same as, it's not the same as going to a local track.
Right.
I don't know, what you bring, what does first place usually bring you in a local race? 800?
I mean, a local race for a money race. Yeah, 800. If it's a money race,
800 to 1,000.
But I mean, a regular non-money race for an amateur race is, you're making just your money back, which is
Right.
still fun. I mean,
Right.
But,
You break even at the end of the
break
day.
even, that's my goal.
So, but that doesn't buy you a new bike.
No.
That's
just paying for the parts.
You say it pays for the parts.
Yeah.
It pays you a little bit of gas to get there. So whereas like you say, I've sponsored some cars over the time, over the years and stuff too. And, those guys, it'd be nothing for a couple of guys I know, that bring $2,000-$3,000 home on a Friday or Saturday night at the local dirt track.
Right.
That's some good money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the cars may cost a little bit more than a bike, but the way bike prices are going these days, I'm not quite sure that it's going to cost you that much more.
They're not that far off.
Yeah.
My wife's cousins, I should say, they're big into the Outlaws.
Yeah.
Down in Kansas, and they're actually, they race at the Chili Bowl. I'm sure you guys have heard of that, all that. They're on, kind of been on TV, and they got their own team and stuff. And he told me they came up for a wedding in the family years ago, and they said on the way home they were stopping in Indianapolis somewhere at a race shop to pick up a $30,000 motor for one of the cars. Just the motor.
Yep.
But like he said, if they get into the program, they're making money every night. And he said about the end of the year they're basically breaking even. So if you're spending some, you can get some back, and if you're breaking even, that's about all you could really ask for, I guess. So